What if the universe doesn't actually hear your words, your prayers, your carefully crafted affirmations? What if instead, it simply and perfectly mirrors the architecture of your mind? Every hope, every shadow, every hidden contradiction reflected back to you not as a cosmic judgment, but as a flawless blueprint of your inner world. We've been taught that reality is something we must petition, something we must ask favors from. But that framework places us as beggars at the gates of existence. What if the most ancient spiritual guidance wasn't about learning how to ask, but learning how to build? The reason our desires so often seem to echo back into a silent void isn't a lack of faith in the cosmos. It's a lack of awareness of the silent, complex structures we have already built within ourselves. A messy room reflects a cluttered mind. It seems the ancient Stoics knew that our outer world is merely the physical printout of our internal state. What we are about to explore is not a new method for asking the universe for what you want. It is the forgotten science of inner architecture, a key to understanding that you are not just living in reality, you are generating it moment by moment, from the cathedral or the prison of your own consciousness. The conventional model of reality operates like a one-way street. We are here, the universe is out there. We send out a request, a fragile paper boat of hope, and wait for a response from across a vast impersonal ocean. But this model is flawed because it fails to recognize the nature of the messenger itself. Imagine your consciousness not as a single voice, but as a complex operating system running countless programs simultaneously. Your conscious desire for abundance, for love, for clarity is just one application you have open on the screen. It's the one you're actively looking at. But what about the programs running in the background? There's the program of ancestral fear, inherited and running silently for generations. There's the malware of self-doubt, installed by a careless word in childhood. There's the background process of societal expectation, constantly consuming your mental energy. You might be typing "I am worthy of success" on the screen, but the background code is running a script that says, "Be careful, don't stand out, it's not safe." The universe, this great cosmic mirror, doesn't just read the single line of text you're typing. It reads the entire source code. It reflects the total output of the system. This is why our results are so often chaotic and contradictory, because the architecture of our inner world is itself a maze of conflicting commands. So the fundamental question shifts. It's no longer, how do I ask correctly, but rather, what programs are running in my system that I am completely unaware of? How do you become the administrator of your own mind, instead of just a user reacting to its glitches? This isn't just a metaphor, it's the fundamental mechanic of self-sabotage. The ancient Stoics had a term for the junction point where this conflict occurs: assent. Every perception, every thought, every memory that floats into your awareness is a proposal. It asks for your agreement, your assent. And those background programs are nothing more than a series of automated assents you gave long ago. The thought, "I am not capable," appeared once, and a part of you, for its own protection, agreed. Assent given. The feeling that abundance is for other people was proposed by your environment, and a part of you, to make sense of its reality, agreed. Assent given. Now these agreements form a shadow constitution, a set of ruling principles that operate beneath the floorboards of your conscious mind. And each of these assents generates an emotional frequency, a feeling. This is the crucial part. The universe doesn't seem to operate on the language of words, but on the language of resonant feeling. Your conscious desire for success might be a clear, beautiful bell tone, but the background programs, the unconscious assents, are generating a constant low-frequency hum of anxiety, of unworthiness, of fear. This hum is the real prayer you are offering. It is the dominant broadcast. It's like trying to listen to a delicate flute solo in the middle of a chaotic factory floor. No matter how perfectly the flute is played, the overwhelming noise of the machinery is what defines the environment. So, the dissonance isn't just a matter of conflicting ideas. It's a war of frequencies, a battle between the singular focused intention and the noisy, chaotic broadcast of your entire unexamined history. This understanding that our inner state dictates our outer reality is not a modern invention. It is a golden thread woven through some of the most profound traditions of human wisdom. We are simply rediscovering a map that has existed for centuries. The Stoics, led by figures like Marcus Aurelius, saw the cosmos as a single, coherent, rational entity called the Logos. To them, the goal of a human life was to bring their own inner world, their hegemonikon or ruling faculty, into harmony with this universal reason. They knew that external events were beyond their control, but the interpretation of those events, the assent we give them, was entirely theirs to command. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." He wasn't offering a platitude. He was stating an operational principle. Your life becomes the physical embodiment of your dominant thoughts. But the Stoics were primarily concerned with the conscious mind, the parts of the inner city we can see in the daylight. It was the psychologist Carl Jung, 2 millennia later, who took a lantern and descended into the hidden levels. He dedicated his life to mapping the vast unseen architecture of the unconscious. Jung showed us that those background programs we spoke of are not just random glitches. They are autonomous complexes, splintered parts of our own psyche that live and act with their own intentions. He called the most repressed of these our shadow. This shadow isn't evil. It is simply all that we have refused to acknowledge about ourselves, and it projects our disowned reality onto the world, making us meet our rejected traits in the people and circumstances we attract. Funny how the oldest advice in the world is to know thyself. It's still the hardest final boss to beat. When the conscious mind and the unconscious are brought into alignment, when the architect finally makes peace with the hidden residents of the building, Jung observed a strange phenomenon he named synchronicity, meaningful coincidences. The universe suddenly seems to conspire with you, not because you're vibrating at the right frequency, but because the conflict within your own system has ceased. The inner message is finally coherent. So if the Stoics gave us the foundational principles for our conscious mind, and Jung gave us the map to the unconscious, the question remains, how do we actually begin the renovation? How do we become the master architect of our own being? This journey of integration has been chronicled not just in philosophical texts, but in the very DNA of our myths. The great mythologist Joseph Campbell discovered this pattern repeating across every culture, in every era. He called it the monomyth, or the hero's journey. Campbell revealed that every great story, from the Buddha to Luke Skywalker, is a symbolic map for this exact process of inner re-architecture. The call to adventure is the moment we realize our current reality, our ordinary world, is no longer sustainable because it's built on a flawed inner blueprint. The belly of the whale, the dark night of the soul, the descent into the underworld. These are all powerful metaphors for the confrontation with the Jungian shadow. The hero must face the dragon, which is nothing more than a symbol for his own deepest fear, his own unintegrated power. He isn't fighting a literal monster. He is fighting an aspect of himself he has refused to see. And what is the elixir, the treasure the hero brings back to the world? It is the wisdom gained from this integration. It is the prize of a newly unified psyche. When the hero returns, he finds that the world itself has transformed, not because the world changed, but because he has changed. His new inner architecture now projects a new reality. Campbell's work shows us that this isn't just a psychological or philosophical exercise. It is the central archetypal quest of human existence. The reason our myths resonate so deeply is that they are not just stories. They are blueprints, they are instruction manuals for the soul, showing us, step by step, how to dismantle the inner prison and build the inner temple. The process is not one of gentle affirmation, but of courageous descent and radical reconstruction. So how do we move from being a passive resident to the chief architect of our inner world? This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about a systematic 3-stage process of renovation: inspection, integration, and active imagination. First, inspection, the architect's survey. You cannot change a structure you do not understand. The first step is to walk through the halls of your own mind with a lantern and a clipboard, like an honest building inspector. The Stoic practice for this is radical self-observation. Throughout your day, when a strong emotion arises, anger, anxiety, envy, the practice is not to suppress it, but to pause and ask a simple, surgical question. What is the judgment, the assent, that I just gave to create this feeling? You don't feel anger because someone cut you off in traffic. You feel anger because you gave assent to the thought, that person disrespected me, and that is an intolerable offense. The practice here is to become a detective of your own automatic judgments. Keep a journal, write down the emotional event, and then trace it back to the underlying belief that triggered it. You will quickly discover the foundational pillars of your current architecture. This isn't about judging your judgments. It's simply about seeing them clearly for the first time. Second, integration. Befriending the shadow. This is the Jungian phase. Once your inspection reveals a recurring destructive pattern, a pillar of unworthiness, a foundation of scarcity, you know you have found the work of the shadow. The common impulse is to fight it, to try and demolish it with positive affirmations. A Jungian approach is the opposite. It is to turn towards the shadow and ask, what are you trying to protect me from? What is your positive intention for me? That inner critic that tells you you're not good enough. Perhaps its original intention was to protect you from the pain of failure by preventing you from trying at all. The practical application is a dialogue. You can do this through journaling or quiet contemplation. Give that shadow part a name, a voice. Ask it questions. Listen to its answers without judgment. The goal is not to defeat it, but to integrate it, to thank it for its protective service and then update its job description from saboteur to ally. This is how you begin to heal the internal civil war. Third, active imagination, the architect's blueprint. Once you've surveyed the old structure and begun making peace with its hidden residents, you can begin to design the new one. This is far more than simple visualization. It is what Jung called active imagination. This is not about picturing a new car. It's about embodying the feeling of the person who has the reality you desire. How does the version of you who is confident and secure feel? How does he walk? How does he breathe? How does he respond to challenges? The practice is to dedicate a few moments each day to step into this state of being, not just visually, but emotionally and kinesthetically. Feel the emotional frequency of your desired reality in your body right now. This is not faking it till you make it. It is rehearsing your future self into existence. You are providing the cosmic mirror, the universe, with a new, coherent and powerful blueprint to reflect back to you. This is the act of consciously drawing the world you intend to inhabit. We have been working under the assumption that you are the sole architect, designing a single building called your life. This is a powerful model, but it contains a profound, hidden limitation. It assumes the architect is a singular, stable entity, working on a linear timeline, building from past to future. But what if this isn't the whole truth? What if you are not one architect, but a dynasty of them, building across time? Consider the strange phenomenon of innate talents. A child prodigy who plays the piano without instruction, or deep, inexplicable affinities. A sudden feeling of being home in a country you've never visited. A powerful resonance with a historical period. Where does this come from? Modern psychology might offer explanations of latent genetics or unconscious association, but what if we entertain a more ancient, more radical idea, one that echoes in the philosophies of Plato and the Orphic mysteries? The idea of metempsychosis, the transmigration of the soul. What if your soul is not a blank slate, but a master architect that has been involved in countless projects before this one? And what if all the blueprints from all those previous projects, the triumphs, the failures, the unfinished cathedrals, the abandoned ruins, are stored deep in the archives of your unconscious? Then those background programs we've been trying to debug are not just from this lifetime. That inexplicable sadness, that persistent fear of drowning, that sense of deep unearned guilt. What if they are not glitches, but echoes, the architectural ghosts of other lives, other selves, still haunting the current construction site? And the greatest twist is this. What if time isn't a straight line, but a vast simultaneous field, as some physicists and mystics suggest? What if all your lives are not in the past, but are happening in some sense right now? Then you are not just dealing with the echoes of the past. You are, in this very moment, an architect working on countless blueprints at once, and a change in one design could, theoretically, send a ripple across them all. This isn't just a mystical speculation. It touches the very edge of where our deepest psychology meets our most advanced physics. Carl Jung himself proposed the existence of an inconsciente collettivo, a shared psychic reservoir containing a record of all human experience, structured by universal archetypes. He saw it as the common heritage of humanity, a psychic blueprint we are all born with. But what if the inconsciente collettivo is more than just a shared database of the past? What if it's a living, dynamic field where all experiences, past, present, and future, coexist? Think of it not as a library of old books, but as a quantum field of infinite potential, where every story ever lived is an active probability wave. In this model, your individual consciousness acts like a tuning fork. Your dominant thoughts, Your deepest emotional resonances don't just shape your personal reality, they attune you to specific stories or lifetimes within that vast collective field. That sudden surge of artistic genius. You might have just achieved a state of resonance with an architect self who was a master sculptor in Renaissance Florence. That crippling, irrational fear of betrayal. You may be tuned into the frequency of a lifetime where that was the final, tragic lesson. We are no longer just architects of a single building. We are navigators of a boundless ocean of experience, and our inner state is the compass. This reframes our work entirely. We are not just cleaning up our own personal mess. We are learning to consciously tune our awareness, to choose which frequency, which story, which self from the great cosmic drama we wish to resonate with and manifest here and now. The question is no longer just what will I build? It becomes, who am I choosing to be from an infinite menu of selves that already exist? This perspective changes everything. If we are not a singular self but a nexus point for a multitude of experiences, then the act of building our reality takes on a profound, almost terrifying ethical dimension. The architect is suddenly aware that the walls of his building are permeable, and his design choices affect a much larger landscape than he ever imagined. What does this mean for our daily lives? It means that our personal work is never just personal. The effort you make to integrate your own shadow, to heal your own ancestral trauma, is not just a self-help project for a better Monday morning. It is a cosmic act. By resolving a conflict within your own system, you may be sending a healing resonance back through a lineage of selves, calming a ghost from a life you can't consciously remember. By choosing compassion over judgment, you may be subtly altering the blueprint for a future self you will one day become. This is the ultimate responsibility. The Stoics taught us to be virtuous because it was the rational thing to do. Jung urged us to integrate our shadow to become whole. But this new synthesis suggests a deeper reason. Every choice we make, every thought we assent to, every emotional frequency we broadcast becomes a permanent part of a vast, interconnected tapestry of consciousness. You are not just building your life, you are contributing a pattern to the entire great work. Suddenly, petty grievances, gossip, and mindless negativity are not just bad habits, they are acts of cosmic vandalism. They are discordant notes introduced into a symphony that spans across time. Conversely, every act of courage, every moment of genuine forgiveness, every choice to build a more coherent and loving inner architecture is a gift offered to the whole. It strengthens the entire field. The goal then is no longer just to manifest a better life for me. The goal becomes to be a good ancestor, not just to your future bloodline, but to your future selves. It's to be a conscious curator of the soul's long and winding journey. The question that must now guide every choice is not just, what will this get me, but what kind of echo will this create in the great hall of eternity? This elevated sense of responsibility can feel overwhelming, but it can also be liberating. It reframes our struggles from personal curses into meaningful archetypal challenges. That recurring obstacle in your life, the one that seems to reappear no matter what you do, that toxic relationship pattern, that persistent financial ceiling. From this new vantage point, it's no longer just your problem. It can be seen as a soul-level assignment. Perhaps it's an architectural flaw that your dynasty of selves has been trying to solve for centuries. A karmic puzzle passed down through time, waiting for one architect in one lifetime to finally have the courage and the insight to solve it. Your breakthrough, then, is not just your breakthrough. It is the breakthrough for the entire lineage. When you finally learn to establish healthy boundaries, you may be completing a lesson that a past self failed. When you finally overcome a deep-seated fear of scarcity and build a life of true abundance, you may be healing a wound that has plagued your soul's journey for ages. This is the ultimate re-enchantment of our existence. It imbues our most mundane struggles with a sacred, heroic meaning. The hard work of self-observation, of shadow integration, of conscious creation is transformed. It becomes our ethical challenge for eternity. We are no longer just trying to survive the day or plan for retirement. We are engaged in a timeless project of cosmic significance, where every small victory of consciousness over unconsciousness, of order over chaos, matters profoundly and echoes forever. This realization is both a burden and a crown. The burden is the weight of knowing that nothing is trivial. The crown is the power of knowing that everything is meaningful. So we arrive at the heart of the great mystery. We began by asking how to get what we want from the universe. and we discovered that we are not petitioners but architects. We learned that our inner world is the blueprint, and that this blueprint may stretch across lifetimes, a vast and interconnected project of the soul. But this revelation leads to one final monumental question. What is the ultimate purpose of this power? If we are truly co-creators, extensions of the divine imagination itself, what is the end game of this cosmic architecture? Is the goal to finally perfect our blueprint, to build a flawless inner cathedral, so pristine and stable that it manifests a perfect, unchanging outer reality, a personal heaven on earth, to finally solve all the soul's ancient puzzles and arrive at a state of eternal, blissful rest? This is the promise of so many paths, the end of struggle, the final arrival. Or is there another, more unsettling and perhaps more beautiful possibility? What if the universe, the divine imagination, doesn't value stasis, but experience? What if its very nature is the infinite, dynamic, chaotic process of creation itself? If that is the case, then perhaps the goal is not to build the one perfect temple that will last forever. Perhaps the true journey of the soul is to become such a masterful architect that it can build anything, a cathedral of light in one lifetime, a labyrinth of sorrow in another, a simple cottage of peace in a third. Not to get stuck in any single creation, but to fall in love with the eternal, magnificent, and sometimes heartbreaking act of building itself. This is the ultimate cosmic dilemma we are left with. Are we here to end the game, or to become better players? Are we architects striving for a final perfect creation, or are we the universe itself, endlessly exploring the infinite possibilities of what can be built? The hunt for that answer is the greatest adventure of all. If this journey resonated with you, consider subscribing so we can continue the hunt together. This exploration was a fusion of documented philosophies and speculative wonder, a map drawn from historical sources and tantalizing what-ifs. What do you believe is the true nature of the architect?